just very straight.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted a little more gay.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode, we are talking about the 2015 film, The Big Short. The Adam McKay film. He's filmed many good films. Talladega Nights, Anchorman. What was that one you were talking about earlier? Just many funny films, because Will Ferrell, well, he's a funny guy.
Not in Evan's opinion.
Well,
No,
Evan,
Will Ferrell, like, in the early 2000s was awesome.
and still great. So your opinion sucks? That's fine. That's my opinion.
All right.
No, I don't mean that.
That's a take.
No.
Immediately, we can just end the episode. Evan's opinion doesn't matter.
Jokes. But yeah, we're talking about The Big Short.
Was that your name in high school? Why did you choose this movie?
Why? Well, one, I've seen the film several times, and
Several times.
Must be the movie's biggest fan.
I love this film.
Have you watched any other movie 7 times?
Home Alone, probably. But I chose The Big Short as, well, one, it's one of the most iconic films that I like to watch. Mainly because, as they would say, I have shit taste. Enjoy the film. I like finance, and I like watching people's lives crumble.
Okay, Big Short. A lot of big names. A lot of good actors in this movie. What do we got? We got Gosling, Pitt,
Carell,
Bale.
Bale.
Yeah, no, great cast. A little bit of meta humor, a little bit of fourth wall breaking. I like that stuff.
Who the fuck's watching this shit anyway?
You know, when Gosling looks at the screen, he just starts talking to you, and I'm like,
You think this is fun?
Dude.
you're like, man, that guy looks weird with dark hair, and one eye is lower. One eye is definitely lower, like on his
I
face.
never noticed that.
Yeah, it's got like one weird eye. I don't know.
Dude's still a stud, though.
He looks weird with dark hair.
Yeah, he does.
He looks really weird.
I'll give you that. I'll
Yeah.
give you that's not his best look. Not his best look.
But yeah, no, overall, I'm going to come out swinging on this one.
Oh, here we
But it's not going to be a swing that you think. I think this is the most straight-laced movie we've watched.
That's a good
It's
take.
very straight. It's well played, I think. Like, I think the acting is all right. I like the parts where it's like, oh, and here's Margot Robbie explaining whatever in a bathtub. And it's like, that's funny. I think that, I like that stuff. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Now fuck off.
I like how they will blatantly come out and be like, that's not how this actually happened. It happened this way, but this was better for the movie. I like how they come out and say that. But other than that, I don't know if there's a whole lot to really like hate on about this movie. Like, there's nothing bad about it. I don't think it's Steve Carell. I thought maybe was a gay character, but I think he was just Jewish.
He got a bit Jewy.
We know how Evan feels about that.
Like,
He loves them.
He loves Jews. I think he was like my favorite character for some reason because
He's a
he was
great
like
character.
he was like morally like,
He was the only like one that was morally sound.
but
Like,
he went for it though. He got rich off it.
wouldn't you though?
Oh yeah, 100%. If I knew I could screw
Like
over,
if
yeah.
I could screw my neighbor over to like win $250 million,
Yeah,
I
you
would
probably
watch
would.
him perish as I sit in my gold tub.
Like I think Carell was my favorite character. I don't know, because it felt like a character Carell could play really, really well. It has that like a really annoying voice, really annoying face, and it worked really well for that character. But I think Christian Bale may have been the better actor, if that makes sense.
To me,
I would disagree. So I'm going to interject here. I would say might be a hot take. This might be, outside of The Office, Carell's best performance.
Bale, like his character, like Michael Burry or Burry,
Doctor
Yeah,
Michael
doctor.
Burry.
PhD.
He,
at the end of his name.
He's like trying to outdo like Elon Musk for most autistic man.
Oh, that's a good take.
He's so autistic in this movie.
You know, Elon's going to come at us if he hears this.
USA!
Oh, you know, it's not true. Like, he had the stutter and everything and the weird glass eye. Like,
Yeah.
that was a cool little thing. Yeah, the glass eye was weird. because I didn't realize that's what it was at first, and it was like,
You're just like, what's up with
what the
that?
fuck's wrong with his face?
You're like picking out people's eyes in this film. You're like, why is his droopy? Why? What the fuck's going on with you, old shifty-eyed fuck?
Pretty A to B. I think they do a good job at explaining Wall Street and the banking system and how all that works.
They dumb it down really easily for like
you have
everybody.
to. The movie's not even 2 hours long.
Like, unless you're in that world, you're not gonna understand like a CDO. Like, I'm glad they did that for like the general viewer because most people wouldn't understand what the
Oh fuck, we got Wolf of Wall Street over
No,
here.
but like I do understand finance. Like, it's
You wanna go do some blow off your wife's ass?
yeah. What were we talking about?
No, I'm kind of with Evan. I think it's the biggest problem with this movie is that it is just it's shot like a documentary and it almost comes off like a documentary. My problem, like I saw this movie in 2020, whenever the stonks GameStop shit was going on, because Michael Burry had a big part into that as well.
Right.
So I remember thinking, like, who is this guy that everyone sees as like fucking Jesus? Like, he's like every finance bro's lord. And I liked the movie when I saw it, but my biggest problem with the movie is because it's shot like a documentary and because it's shot in such like a to B way, it almost comes off like a documentary. And I'm not someone I don't find documentaries very rewatchable. So it's like, yes, it's dramatic and it's like played up, but it just feels like a documentary.
Fair play. No, that's a good statement. Like, I can't argue that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like, it's like, as I was watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is funny and it's good and it's intriguing and I want to see the end and how it folds out.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I want to rewatch it? It's going to be one of those movies I want to rewatch.
We also lived through that timeline. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also doesn't go into everything that happened.
No.
To crash that down. Like, it didn't go into like
the movie's infuriating though. Yeah. Like I don't know how much they play up all this stuff, but it's like how the banks handled that situation.
No. The real story's even more infuriating.
Yeah.
Oh, what did they break that down to be? It's got a name. I can't think of the name, but it's any high interest loan, I promise you, is essentially the same thing as a CDO, just hidden.
Yeah, I liked how they convey that to the viewer. Is like, oh, there's a bubble. It's like, no, there's no bubble. And then it's when Carell's talking to a stripper and she has like 5 homes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's smash cuts and he's like, there's a bubble. And you're like,
yeah, that's what kind of bothered me. People like treat Michael Burry like he's a god. Like, really, anybody should have been able to see this. And like, he was just the guy to see it.
Well, he was the guy autistic enough to sit down and go through the paperwork.
Yeah.
They knew, the government knew there was a bubble.
Yeah.
They just didn't think anybody would exploit it.
Well, yeah, because
but it was going to fail regard. Like, it was. It was going to fail.
Like, it was just inevitable.
It was like, is it going to fail in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years?
They don't care as long as they're still getting their salary and their bonuses and
it was cool. Like, you saw those people like, oh, you're 90 days overdue, and it's like, I just rent this. My landlord's not paying you.
I feel
like
that.
And then you see him in a van at the end.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. Like watching that the first time, I was like, man, this fucker just living his life, trying to do well by his family.
Dude was living in a nice house.
You just
in a
said you'd
cul-de-sac.
fucking kill your neighbor for 250. He's just trying to live his life.
Like, if I could screw my neighbor over to like win $250 million, I would watch him perish as I sit in my gold tub. I'm saying I'm not immoral.
So okay, the movie shot like to me, it's very documentary-ish, right? So like then the only thing I can really judge this movie on is the actual filmmaking of the movie, like the acting, the directing, because the story is the story. It's what it is. Like
played up in parts.
Yes, it's played up. It's made dramatic, but it's the story's the story. It's essentially a documentary.
Yeah, I would take your take saying, "Oh, it's filmed like a documentary." That's what I love about it.
It's filmed like The Office. Like it's that handheld, like we're zooming in, we're going like it has like an office-y vibe.
I like that little Asian guy.
Dr. Jones!
Oh, he's like, yeah, I went to Harvard. My name's John. He's like, I came second in that math exam.
I love that. Like that
was good.
Those are my favorite parts. Is like you hated them, I loved them.
I like those parts, like the little humorous parts.
Steve Carell's, I think, the best character in the movie. He's the best actor in the movie too.
Steve Carell could literally play any kind of movie. I feel like he's just one of those guys like in Hollywood that like he's beloved by everyone. But like every character he does play, he embodies it completely. Like you felt frustration of his frustration that he was having. He knew there was a bubble. He knew it was a problem, and he was fucking pissed that it was happening, and you felt that.
But it leads me to another problem I have with this movie, because, again, going back to that document, every character in this movie I feel is very one-dimensional. Each character is there to deliver their line, and that's it.
It's a one-dimensional film.
And they do it well. They do it well. They go, like, Gosling goes in, he delivers his lines, but there's nothing exceptional about it. Like, and there's two ways you can go with a movie like this. You can go this direction, which is very much more, here's what happened and here's how things were. Or you can go if we're talking movies about like events or people that have changed the world, Social Network. Social Network goes in the direction of, we're going to dive deep into this character's psyche and like who the fuck he is.
Smoking meat, smoking these meats.
This movie's not interested in any of that shit about any of the people.
I feel like if I was an actor and I read this script and, I did the table readings, I'd be like, this is an easy payday.
Oh, it is.
Like,
it's an easy.
Yeah.
Like you say,
and I'm not saying that to be like mean about the movie. It just
it is a one. I'll agree with you. It is a
Yeah.
one-dimensional film. The acting is one-dimensional, but it's purposefully that way.
Yeah,
because
I
it
agree.
has to be. It's a one-dimensional storyline.
But yeah, I think it's a hard movie to judge because, like, is the acting bad in the movie? No. Is the storyline bad? No, it's good. It's what it is.
Great.
Is the direction good?
Wonderful.
It's fine for what it is.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's
It
an
does
Adam
it does the
McKay.
job.
Yeah.
Everything does the job.
It
in
looks
this
good.
movie.
Like
Yeah.
it looks fine, but
Maybe
it's
I'm a
not.
bland person. Maybe I just like bland.
You're
things.
just salt and pepper. Salt
I think you
and
just
pepper.
like the subject matter a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
But you're a guy, like we've always said this before. You're the story guy. You
Yeah.
love a good story
I
in your
do.
movie. Like
Even
that's-
when we play games. Like,
yeah,
it's the same way.
thing-
Like
same
if it's got a
thing.
good storyline.
yeah. So it makes sense that you would like this. Like you're into the story, and this movie is only the story. Like
Yeah.
Like if you're coming to this movie for anything but the story, you might leave disappointed. But it's a good story.
That's a good take.
It's a good story though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I thought the acting was exceptional, mainly because it was an A to B point, and just every character played their point wonderfully.
They did.
Gosling's character was a little silly.
Is he an actual person?
Who? Ryan Gosling?
No.
Like I believe.
The character he played.
That I don't know. That's not his name. I don't believe in the reality of what happened. But he was like his hedge fund was like a real thing, and there was somebody that kind of put that's what the hell was
I feel like he
Carell's-
was like his character was there for the audience.
What was your favorite? Like what scene stood out to you?
Well, there was a few actually. The main one I would say is when they're down at that conference, and it's the last person that Steve Carell talks to. It's that Asian fella, pretty much shitting on him for like, yeah, my account is bigger than your account, my wallet. He's just like, yeah, I can't fail, and he's just like, fuck you, and he's just so fucking mad. You could just see him he's just fucking. I love those realization moments in any film where they just realize it's like, oh, there's a fucking bubble and it's about to pop. That part in particular. And I would say the part that Barry's character is in his office, he's got his fucking heavy metal just going fucking nuts, and he just put the fucking percentage, I think it was at 18.9 at that point. And then the boss comes and he's just like, I want my fucking money back. And he's just like, yeah, I actually revised the contract and nobody's allowed to withdraw.
That would be scary.
Like, could you imagine being that guy's boss, like his boss? How fucking mad would you be if you $250 million of your money is just like, I don't know if I'm getting that back.
Evan, what was your favorite scene?
You guys know what my favorite scene is. It's where
Margot Robbie in the bathtub?
No,
That's my favorite.
it's actually
That's it.
close. It's when Carell's talking to the stripper. And
He's
the
like,
fact
please
that
stop dancing.
and like the fact that he's at a private show and he's like asking her all these finance questions, and like then there's like that smash cut and he's like, "There's a bubble." That I thought that was great.
I like the scene, the Asian guy and Steve Carell, and they're at the restaurant.
Yeah.
That was the scene I liked the most. I think that was like the best performance of the movie was Steve Carell in that scene.
Walks away, his hair is all fucking
His
frazzled
hair
up.
is his hair is whack.
Yeah, that's if we're gonna say one thing about anyone in this film about looking funky, the hair was fucking ridiculous on Steve Carell. It was fucking
on
ridiculous.
on Gosling too. Like,
his hair was
all
weird.
the hair was kind of like
even Bale's hair.
Bale's hair didn't. No one's hair made sense.
Yeah, but Bale was probably like, I want my hair to look like that.
He's risen with the tism, baby.
His character definitely was.
Oh, was he ever?
Should we rate it?
Yeah, let's rate
All right, Alex, what do you give Big Short?
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Really
good.
love the film. It's one of my favorite films.
That's good. What do you give it, John?
I give it a solid 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's better than I expected.
Yeah.
That's a fine. Like it's one of those. It's hard to find a fault with the movie.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
good.
yeah. It does.
It
its
is a
job.
very A to B. Maybe my next film will be
Maybe like A to C back to...
back to Z over to
Ooh.
fucking K.
It's Twin Peaks. We're going to watch Twin Peaks. We're gonna...
Oh no.
It's Mean Girls.
I give Big Short 2.5. I think it's middle of the road. Yeah.
Where I thought you would put
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, again, it's like if you said, "Hey, tell me all the problems with The Big Short," I'd be like, "I don't know. I don't know if there's a problem with the movie."
It's under
really.
2 hours.
Yeah,
it's like
Yeah, it moves well.
Yeah,
like
it
it's
moves
not
very
like
well, yeah.
like some. I've watched a lot of finance films where it kind of is like over explaining the finance end of it, and like you're gonna lose people with that.
Yep.
You're gonna bore the fuck unless that's your life and that's your area of expertise. You're gonna bore someone about it.
It feels like an Adam McKay movie. Like Anchorman feels bigger than it actually is.
Yeah,
Big Short feels bigger than it actually is. Talladega Nights, yeah, he did that.
yeah.
Same thing. Like they're comedy movies, and I would say I would put Big Short into like comedy drama. All right. Well, any other thoughts we have on the Big Short?
Trying to think what else we usually do for these. We do
do
favorite
I once
scene.
shit myself.